Welcome to the Agile Shop, where we talk shop about hands-on Agile solutions. So today we're going to discuss what should be the focus of a new Scrum Master when joining an organization or a new team during the first couple of weeks. First, focus should be on observing your team, the current process, and your new environment. Second, start learning high level about the existing products in the organization and the products that your team is working on. Third, learn the current workflow of how work comes in your team and any existing challenges they currently have. All these three things should happen in parallel over the first couple of weeks before things start picking up for you and get busy. Step one, observe. So first, you want to observe your new team, their existing ceremony and existing process. Take notes on the things they do that might not align with the Scrum Guide general process and try to get background during one-on-one why they do the things they do. During this time, start getting familiar with people from your team, their roles and skills. If your team doesn't have this already documented, take initiative and document it for them. Make sure you take the time to ask team members what are their challenges, how can you help them. Prioritize genuinely listening during this time over trying to provide any solutions. This will help you start building trust with your team. Document your observation. This will help you later on when you try to build a plan of improvements and recommendations to the team and especially management. Most important part of this phase is for you to focus on active listening during all your observations and keep to a minimum your recommendations or any changes that you would like to make. The goal here is to make sure you understand the background of your team, all their challenges, and the end-to-end process before you start making any changes or improvements. Step 2. Learn about the products and the organization. Start meeting with the product people and management from your organization and ask them about those main products. Find any existing material within the organization that can help you get a high level understanding of those main products. Try to identify the external versus internal products and who are those teams that are working on them. Sometimes seeing a full organizational chart can help you identify and map the teams structured around those products. Finally, start narrowing it down on your team and the products they are supporting. Step 3. Learn the workflow of your team. Where is the work coming from? First, find out who are all the stakeholders that are requesting work from your team. What is the difference between each team requesting work from you? Make sure you have a high level understanding of the different ways each team is requesting work from your team. What about any existing expectations or service level agreement that your team needs to fulfill? Once you get understanding of the intake process of your team, then we can move and find out more about any dependencies. Is your team dependent on any other team? As an Agile Scrum Master, this is a core responsibility of your role. Find out the answer to this question as soon as you can. Make sure you get introduced to all these teams and get the opportunity to chat with them and start building a relationship. At a minimum, you should have a point of contact for each other team. You should clarify with them the handout process between them and your team and all the methods of communication. By learning this, you are better positioned as a Scrum Master to help your team when they run into any blockers or dependencies in the future, or when your team members have any questions for the other teams. Great. Now that we figure out your dependencies, let's get back on focusing on your team. Do you know what type of work is your team working on? Start categorizing the type of work that your team does. Hopefully, based on all the other prior discussions, you have some information to answer these questions. If not, no worries. Make sure you ask this when you have your one-on-one with each team member. As a Scrum Master, categorizing this work and understanding what type of bucket the work falls under will allow you later on to visualize the work that's categorized in different ways in tools like Jira and Rally. Once the work is categorized and tagged in those type of tools, you can run a lot of cool metrics that are highly beneficial for your team and management. By the way, the metric video is coming soon, so make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss it. Now we can chat about the internal team workflow. A team workflow should visualize the active work moving from left to right on a board similar to this one. For reference, a simplified internal workflow looks something like this. It includes a handful of columns like to do, in progress, in review, or QA, and done. Some teams might have a more complex version of this depending on their own process. As a Scrum Master, you need to define and clarify the following for your team's internal workflow. Define when work is ready for your development team to actually start working on. This is also called definition of ready. If your team does not have this definition yet, you need to take initiative and help your team document it. Clarify with your internal team members the expectations for work that is in QA and review. Define the criteria that your team needs to meet when your work is considered complete. This is also called definition of done. Start by asking your team members, are you getting mixed answers based on who you ask? This is a sign it should be probably documented and clarified across the entire team. If you want to learn how to facilitate these sessions and how to document definition of ready and definition of done with your team, subscribe to our channel and you will get notified once the video is released. Are there other teams who are waiting or dependent on your team's work? Similar to the teams you depend on, you need to find out the teams that are dependent on your own team. Figure out who are the points of contact of those teams and what is the existing process for handoff and communication between the teams. By the end of all our observations and investigation, you should probably have enough information to create a visualization of the entire workflow. As a new Scrum Master, being able to create this visualization of the entire workflow will set you aside from anyone else since most of the teams don't have a proper documented flow. To recap, as a new Scrum Master that just joined a new team, you should observe, learn about the product and the organization, and learn and document the workflow of your team. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and subscribe to our channel if you found this video valuable. Thanks.